week's episode of The Enthusiast, brand new art prints are now out by Hendrik Salstrom and heaps more in this week's episode of the new third season of The Enthusiast. This week, few publications will be releasing on the 30th of March in The Claws of the Vultures, Crippled Jake by Shane Foley. It's going to be amazing when that story comes out. I'm still catching up on the 2023 annual. I'm nearly done with this. I'm very, very close to finishing this. It's an amazing book. I have loved my experience with this book so far. And the other book that I wanted to touch on before we get into this week's show is last week's cover. Now, the thing I have with this last week's cover, I felt like it needed to have a bit of more real-world experience brought onto that cover. Now, I'm going to be showing the image, going to be showing the cover art right now, and it's that. This cover art, it just feels too cartoony. It doesn't feel like it's got a proper, it just feels like it doesn't have a proper, meaning. It doesn't feel like it's tough, and it doesn't feel like it has a real world experience. Yes, you've got the two twins on there, you've got Heloise Walker, and you've got Kit Walker on there. But in saying that they've got those two, the main characters on there, it doesn't feel like it. You don't have an emotional attachment to the comic as other ones that you would have had. You've got one of the things that I'm not too sure about on this cover is the vibrancy and the saturated colors. I'm not too sure how that fits with with how I like covers, but I guess it's not really up to me. It's up to whoever is commissioning the artwork. But I feel like if the main story is the attack on the Jungle Hospital, it's a part of the 22nd Phantom saga. So I'm hoping that I just wished that there was a real world, first world experience brought onto the cover. It just doesn't feel like the cover art this week is a proper one. For me, that doesn't feel like a proper cover art. It feels too cartoony, and the back cover on the other side, yes, that's paper, but the back cover on the other side, which is drawn by Paul Mason. I was about to spoil something just there, but I'm not going to say anything. And coming up on this week's show, in the creator news, Hendrik Salstrom, as I said, has put new official Phantom artwork on the Bottleneck Gallery based in New York, based in the NC, based in the NYC. And we have a reminder for the community announcement that I made last week, and that is about interviews and plus more are coming after the third season of The Enthusiast. We have publisher news this week. Egmont to release a new edition of The Phantom chronologically in Norwegian countries, and we also have Fantomen number 6 and 7 is out in local stores in Norwegian countries, and the new news segment is back for this week. It is the saga of the 21st Phantom, the Dungeons Undone, a game of arrow and spear. Next up in this week's creator news, Hendrik Salstrom has put some amazing new official Phantom art prints out this week at the Bottleneck Gallery, and the artworks that we're going to be showing up on the screen right now, the artworks look amazing. They just look absolutely beautifully coloured art prints by the maestro himself. And I'm saying maestro like he's a part of the The Beethoven Maestro. Yes, I'm going to be starting this thing where I'm going to be saying the Beethoven Maestro. Yes, it's Hendrik Salstrom. He has new art prints out at the Bottleneck Gallery. So if you're interested in purchasing some of these prints, they are just beautiful. And a reminder this week that this week's community announcement is the same as last week. After the third season of The Enthusiast, I'll be doing a couple of interviews. Will be coming out very, very soon. And there will be a review of the new action figurine by NECA from the Defenders of the Earth version of the Phantom. And there also will be new collection episodes and book reviews as well. And if you liked those community announcements and what is coming up on this week's show, then you're definitely going to be able to watch my show, The Enthusiast, on Anchor and Spotify, and heaps more. The Enthusiast, where the passion for the Phantom doesn't waver. New episodes weekly on Tuesdays, and I will also be putting the link to the podcast in the description down below. In this week's publisher news, Egmont is going to be releasing another Fantomen chronological book with reprinting issues number 21 through to 23 from the year 1971, which is pretty much, it's amazing that Egmont is still publishing old issues that most Phantom fans may or may not have right now, and it's a great idea to be publishing old Fantomen comics so that if a younger audience or if a person who is a bit older that may or may not have those issues can still experience those stories within those issues, if that made sense. And also this week, Fantomen number 6 and 7 is out in stores wherever they are sold within Norwegian countries, which is amazing cover art done by Luca Berta. As they said, delicious cover book art done by Luca Berta. And now we have our newest news segment. It is back for this week.
It is the saga of the 21st Phantom Dungeons Undone, a game of arrow and spear.
This week in the Phantom Dailies, on March the 13th, the Phantom asks why Diana was told the chronicle tale that Old Man Moz had wrote, and after heavy thinking, like most of this script has been him thinking like, I wonder what's going to happen next. Oh, I'm going into that thought process. He then thinks that the chance of the Phantom to go and rescue Savannah Devi from being executed in Rhodia is that he thinks that Old Man Moz has pretty much double-crossed him just after he had left, and when actually he had kept a promise with the Phantom to not tell anyone about his prophecy, and Babu Dan reveals to the Phantom that she is indeed safe and waiting at the Bandar Pygmy camp on the other side of the border. And then on Wednesday, the Phantom says,
"What exactly did you say to Diana to keep her out of harm's way tonight, old friend?" Babu Dan says, "If fate won't permit me to guard the lives of two walkers, I would choose you, Diana Walker. I would choose yours alone."
Has Babu Dan set a double standard, just protecting Diana on its own, or is there something else going to play here? On Thursday goes by and we hit Friday with a poison arrow going straight into the forearm of a prison guard's forearm. Straight into the Rhodium prison guard's forearm. Yes, it's getting lethal here. It's getting deadly. The Phantom is, I think, he's thinking that you're not telling me the full story here, Babu Dan, and what are you truly leaving out on this big, old occasion, old friend? What are you leaving out? A lot of Phantom fans have been saying, like, this Phantom comic strip, this is not how I remember it from my childhood. And I say to this, if this isn't the Phantom you grew up on, this wasn't a part of your childhood, well, I will agree with you with most parts in that argument. But yes, it may not be your Phantom from your childhood wrote by the same person from your childhood. Things change. Some for good reasons, and some for really stupid reasons, like many things we see in life. But do you expect the Bandar warriors to not throw spears and attack the Rhodian people, the Rhodian prison guards, without their poison arrows, or just let the tables turn and let them get battered to square leg and back? Then fans would be saying, but the Bandar pygmy tribe warriors are absolutely getting battered to third base and back. Why isn't something else happening to save the warriors from this onslaught? I say you cannot have it both ways. Like literally, if you were to, in normal context, if you absolutely wanted to have it both ways and you wanted it your way and the other person wanted his way, well, it wouldn't really work out because that's how an argument starts. So, really, Tony DePaul has sort of thought, well, hang on a sec, you can't really have it both ways. One team's going to lose and one team's going to win. It's how it works these days. And that is my rant over. And lastly, a report comes in telling the lead of operations at the Rhodium prison that Reserve Barracks number 1 is down without a fight. But what happened at Reserve number 1? What happened? They're killing us up here. They're killing us up here, I say. Send desk jockeys. Send janitors. We need everybody and anybody you got. Anybody you got. We need everybody and anybody you got. And you can now follow us on our socials on Instagram at Phantom Cave Reviews and on Facebook at Phantom Cave. And if you enjoy Phantom Cave Reviews and my awesome discussions on the Enthusiast, you can always subscribe to the channel and tell us what do you like the most about Hendrik Salstrom's Phantom covers, and you will see me next week with the last episode of the 3rd season of The Enthusiast. It's mind-blowing. I just can't believe that we've made it through the entire season of the 3rd season of The Enthusiast. A 4th season of this show will be coming in the next, I don't really know. It will be coming very, very soon after a couple of weeks of, I'm going to be having a few more things come out. We've got, as I said, I've got interviews coming out. I've got going to be recording some different types of things, different types of content. And then after that, we will get into the 4th season of The Enthusiast. And as always, keep Phantom Caving, stay safe, and you will see me next week on the channel with a live 11th episode on Tuesdays, and that will be all.